Thank you for coming on my show, Kiara. Can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for letting me be on here. Yeah, I'm Kiara. I'm an actress from the Canary Islands. I'm German British, but I
Hmm.
grew up in Spain. And yeah, I moved to LA about 3 years ago. Um, and it's been going great so far. I've studied at Stella Adler for the past two
Hmm.
years, graduated this year, and
Hmm.
now it's time to get out there.
What can you tell us about your acting journey and how's it been so far?
It's been amazing. It's been a roller coaster. I've been acting since I'm a kid, but I think when you're a kid, you just do it for the fun of it. Um, and then when I realized that it could be actually a job, I got obsessed with it and I just wanted to learn and keep learning. And then of course COVID happened, so that kind of took a step. I lived here before the pandemic, and then I moved back and I had to wait 2 years before coming back to
Hmm.
LA. Kind of like it happened. And yeah, since then it's been like an uphill climb, but it's nice. I enjoy every aspect of the work, so I'm excited to see what comes next.
Well, that's amazing. And what inspired you to get into acting?
I kind of fell into it, to be honest. I was a dancer before I was an actor, and I was always the weird, like creative child. Um, and my aunt took her daughters to this theater group that just started in my town. Sorry about that. Let me close this. Um, and yeah, and then she was like, "You should come because you're the dancer, you're the creative." And I did go, and I fell in love with it from day one. And I've been acting since then. I haven't stopped.
And you started acting at what age? 6, 7, you said?
At 9.
At
But
9 years
I
old.
was a dancer at like, I don't know, I started when I was like four or
Okay.
five. Yeah.
And what made you decide to move across the halfway around the world to go back, come to LA?
Yes. I come from a really small, not just town, like the island is small. So there's nothing really there like creatively that is moving forward. I think they got stuck back in the 80s or 90s. And we don't have universities, there's no like art programs. They're getting better now, which I'm really proud. Um, but I came with my dad. He's a surfer, so he came here when I was like 9 or so. And I've always thought about acting in London or in LA. Um, but I love LA. I've always been drawn to this place. When I moved here in 2020, I got off the plane and I immediately knew I was like, this is my place. Um, yeah, it's something about this town. I think it
Hmm.
reminds me of home too, just like obviously times 10 because it's like way bigger.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I love also the weather. That was kind of like a big thing for me, you know.
And you said 2020, so you moved during the pandemic.
Yeah, I got here
And
January 1st.
wow. And what was the life like moving during the
Uh,
pandemic?
so at first I was like, this is amazing. New city. I started at the American Academy. My classes like January 2nd, so I was still jet lagged going to class. I loved it. I was getting to know the city and my way around it. And then yeah, March, it kind of everything closed. And it was crazy because I think I stayed here only for 6 months of the pandemic, and then the rest I went back home. And I didn't have it too bad because when here everything was still flexible and open, I was living here, and when it got really strict, it's right in the moment where I decided to go back home to see my family, and they were like opening up again. So it's kind of like I had the best in both countries.
Hmm.
So I didn't get to experience the whole crazy LA closing. Like they could still you could still go on runs and out and stuff, but acting wise, it was like nothing going on, obviously, in the whole world. So
Right.
that was
It was
interesting.
yeah, it was a crazy time.
Crazy time.
Yes. What do you love the most about acting so far?
That's a hard question. What isn't there to like? No, I think I just love the work. I love the whole rehearsal process. I love meeting this new character and knowing nothing and then slowly getting to know them
Hmm.
um and become part of them and even like getting the costumes together and failing on stage and be like, okay, this doesn't work, this does work, and what works one day doesn't the next. Um I think I like that the most. Obviously, all the performance and stuff, it's rewarding, but I think you can only get there if you do the work. So it's kind of like,
Right.
yeah, putting the hours in,
Hmm.
you know?
A little bit deep question on this is a lot of young actors and actresses are coming into the industry, but as yourself as a female actress, speaking for yourself and give your testimony, do you believe it is tough to be in the industry um, as a as an actress, as a woman actress?
Mm, yes and no. Um, I'd say more no in the sense of any um job you pick will be hard.
Hmm.
And if you add on the female aspect of it, if you're a female, any job position you want, I personally think it is going to be a bit harder for you. But if you want it, just go for it,
Hmm.
work hard for it. There's room for everyone as well. We just need to like cut through,
Right.
and make it work.
Well, the reason I brought that up, and because a lot of audience may be wondering why I asked that question, because there's a lot of there's not you may follow up with that as well, but there's not many women, female directors,
Yeah,
and it's rare if I
it is.
say that way correctly. You can
Yeah,
correct me, but and that's why like a lot of people are wondering, how can they upcoming younger female actors and actresses and upcoming younger directors, for especially for male, I'm speaking for both, but
yeah.
what can they do to change the entertainment industry in the future?
I just think it's all of us keep working
Hmm.
for it and with it, and we will get there eventually. I don't think there's this one thing you can do to get there. But yeah, even not just female directors, female writers. I think we need more female voices behind the screen. But even as an actress myself, most of the roles that I've been getting auditions for is very, I want to say, gender typical of like the blonde rom-com girly that falls in love and blah blah blah. And I think I'm also drawn to all the stronger like male
Hmm.
characters. And I'm like, that would be so much fun. So I just think it's more work on our part and everyone's part, and we will get there
I
eventually.
totally
You know?
100% agree with you. To change the subject, what do you notice the difference? I know you're from a small town.
Yeah.
But what do you notice a difference between America acting industry compared to your home country?
Um, I think it's tougher in Spain.
And
Um, out of the nature of it being like a smaller industry, it's tough. Um, they don't circle like new actors often. They kind of stick to what they found, and then every 10 years they get a new batch. Um, the training there is incredibly hard. And they're very selective. And I found maybe like in Spain in the industry, they tend to lately do more creative stuff. Spain is going through this boom of like, okay, let's go wild and crazy, and I really like it. It's going back to the style like from like 20 years ago, like color wise and everything. I'm like, It's really interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference between America and Spain.
Yeah, and I just would say a smaller industry. So everybody knows everyone. It's really hard to get
Hmm.
break, like to get the door open. Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects?
Yeah. I have, is that sound on my part or on your part? Sorry. Can you hear that?
No,
No.
I don't hear anything.
Okay. Like that's strange. Yeah, I'm sorry. My upcoming projects. I have a film coming out, Red Poppies. It's actually in post-production right now, so I'm really excited about it. And hopefully next year I'll be in a play at the end of next year
Mhm.
called The Denial of Death. So yeah, I'm really stoked about
That's so
being
awesome.
on
And I
stage.
know I was
So,
going to ask you about the red poppies.
yeah.
Um, what can you tell the audience about it, and what's your role if you're allowed to talk about it?
Um, it is a short film, so I don't want to say too much because I feel like I will immediately give everything away.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm really excited to share it. I play the role of Iris, and she's this troubled girl, and she finds herself kind of with her past clashing with her present. She gets reunited with her first love and friend while she's healing from her past. So it's a bit of a drama love story. Um,
Wow.
they both went through this event
Hmm.
together. They are like bonded through that as well. Um, yeah, I don't know if I can say much
Well,
more.
of course, I don't want you to ruin the stories. I don't want you to feel pressured, even though I try so the audience can know. But
No, yeah.
um, now, what is your favorite genre
Hmm.
and your dream genre acting role you want to be in?
Oh my God. I want to do action movies. That was always been top of my list. Or any show, any dark show.
Dark. Okay. What do you mean dark?
Um, I don't know. Or like, have you seen Kaleidoscope? The
Yeah.
it's a show kind of like that mystery action
Okay.
related. I don't know if there's like a genre, but I anything where it requires me to prepare physically for a role, it's super exciting for me. Yeah,
Hmm.
I would love to do that.
So you like to be in like a horror film.
Yeah. I'd like to be in anything. I'm like anything is a challenge, but I've always wanted to do stronger female lead
Hmm.
characters.
Hmm.
Uh, any Luc Besson movie. I'm like next film that he directs, please.
Hey, you
No,
never know. You never know.
that style of movie, I love. So
Right. Never know. Never know, right?
you never know. That's true. That's for
Right. Never give up on your dream. Um, you know, who is your favorite dream actor or actress you would like to work with?
sure. Oh my God. Work with. I'd say maybe Helen Mirren.
Okay.
Yeah, think she'd be fun. I'd
Mm-hmm.
learn a lot. I think it's more about that for me. Maybe I'd be like just on set, like just watching her, or on stage. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And why is that?
I had anything she's done. I I admire it. Um, she's very specific, and what she
Mhm.
does. Her training is incredible. And even the way she talks about the craft of acting, I just could listen to it all day. I think it would be very fun. Yeah.
Wow. I mute my mic because I had to sneeze. Sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
bless you.
thank you. That's why I mute myself. Um, so, um, is there any particular actress you really, really like to learn from? You know, have you
Mhm.
ever thought like looking on screen or looking at a movie and you're like, I want to learn from this actress because you've seen her so many times, or an actor?
I'd probably stick with the same
Hmm.
answer.
I had to
Helen Mirren.
ask. I didn't know.
Yeah. Um, well, I can say an actor that I would love to work with, Colin Farrell, because
Hmm.
again, a big action fan. Feel like I'd love to work with him. He's great. So then if I want to learn from someone, I'd say Helen Mirren. Yeah.
Right. I thought you were going to say Tom Cruise. Just kidding.
Tom Cruise. He's great too. No,
Most people, most people say Tom Cruise maybe because he does his own stunts.
yeah, it is true. I would love to do my own stunts. That's why I would love to go into action movies. But yeah, no, yeah, Helen Mirren, I'll stick with
Hmm.
her.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What's your short-term goal and your long-term goal in this as an actress?
Um, Long-term goal is just to keep acting.
Hmm.
I always say I really don't mind what or where it is. I just want to keep doing it for the art of it and for what fills me. So yeah, who knows what will happen. And even if I change career paths, I think I'll always be acting in my
Hmm.
own
Hmm.
way and like creating. And my short-term goal, I don't know, just see what comes next, do my next project. I'm really excited. I think yeah, that's the next short-term like that I can see that's gonna happen for sure
Hmm.
is the play. Um, and other than that, I don't know. Be happy. Is
Right.
that too easy to say?
Right. That's true. Um, no, let's talk about the life of LA. The
Mhm.
beautiful city of LA, and nothing to go against LA. Sorry, and okay, but the young actors and actresses and producers are thinking that they can leave their home country or here in the United States, first of all, in their home country, or to come straight to LA to say, it's easy, just get a you know, start your own movie or start acting. But a lot of them may not realize it's hard work, right? You have auditions, and then also, when you're 18, you have to find your own job because you may not be able to provide for yourself. So,
Yeah.
what is your experience as a young actress that you
Hmm.
can, teach
Yeah.
future upcoming actors and actresses that want to, you know, follow your steps and say, I want to move from England to LA or from South Korea to LA or around the world just come to experience it.
In in my experience, it's been very easy to live here as a student because it provides you so much. And it's really helpful to have the school and the resources, and then you can also work. It kind of becomes tricky later when you want to stay here because you need to apply for, there's different ways. I don't want to really get into it, but
No, it's
like
okay.
the artist visa or the O1 visa, and it is really hard. Especially if you come here at 18, which means maybe you've done two films back home or one, because you need to prove to the government that you're this incredible actor or actress to be able to stay. But it's definitely doable. You just need to work hard. Don't like time like is goes really fast so that everyone's like, "Oh, I have time." And say yes to every project that comes your way if you do want to end up staying here
Hmm.
and work here. Um, and I always say, because I always, of course, I came here with a dream, but you need to put in a bit more than that idea. It's kind of like, yes, this is my dream, but I need to hustle for it. Without it, the city is big and it will eat you up. It's happened. I've seen it happen. But yeah, if you're determined and you want to stay here, there's so many ways to do so. So I wouldn't hesitate. If you're coming
Hmm.
from London or from wherever, give it a shot. LA is great.
Well, you made a good point. It's a hustle.
Yeah.
It is very, it's it's a passion that you want to do it, but also it's a hustle. You come here and you make 18, and you like you said, apply for things. Also, you may have to work or go to school, but also hustle is a big thing, and
For international people, it's hard to like go to school and be like, I can work. Because normally the paperwork and stuff and depends on the visa you have
hmm.
won't allow it. So then it's like you need to come with enough savings beforehand as well. So it's this whole like be prepared. That's all, I guess.
Right. And also to make connections in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. I always say any project, say yes. It doesn't matter if it's
Hmm.
if you think, oh no, it's not good. No, do it. First of all, you'll have fun, you'll meet people, and then slowly but surely you'll eventually, next project, next project.
Yeah, 100%. I totally
That's
agree
how
with
it
you.
goes, kind
Yeah, no, no, I had to ask that question because, a lot of young actors, who will be wondering the journey it takes, and they want to experience like you are. And you never know, like you said, LA is very famous. There's people that come there every day, every month that
of.
fly from all around the world. And that there's potential young actors and actresses and producers that are like you that have a dream and say, I was built, this is me, this is my place. I want to be in LA. What can
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah.
And
I say it's hard, but it's worth it. And that's all I needed. I was like, is it hard? Yes, but will it like come to fruition? It was a yes, and I was like, let's do it. That's
that's
all I
true.
needed. So look for your reason and work hard.
Totally agree with you. What was your most funny moment on set?
Uh, I don't know. There's many of those. I think I didn't think about that. Oh my God. I think most of them probably happened on like plays, like theater productions, out of the nature that you spend so much time with your cast rehearsing.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, nothing comes to mind to be honest. Um, you can come back to me on that. Oh my God.
No, it's okay. And the follow-up question, since you said theater, do you do you like theater or do you like on set the most?
That's the big one. I like both. I grew up on theater, so that's all I knew for the longest time. And then when I started like learning how film works and acting for film, I was like, never doing theater again. This is amazing. Fell in love with the film and the TV
Hmm.
industry. And now thanks to Stella Adler, their training is very theater based, and I went back to my roots, and I fell in love with it again. So now it's kind of 50-50. They're so different. People are, no, you're an actress, you can do both. They're so incredibly different that I don't think I can choose between them. Stage, it's so rewarding. Um, you're there with the audience. You have one chance to get it right. You have so much rehearsal process behind it. But then with film, you have so many like creative liberties because you can film from any angle and stuff and can be quiet, which is nice. I don't know, I couldn't pick. I really love both. There's, yeah, I
And
really
what's the
enjoy.
big difference between theater and on set?
I think it's different for everyone. Um, People would just say one has an audience, one doesn't. That's kind of like the general idea of it. But for me, it's more the rehearsal process. I think
Hmm.
nowadays you don't get to rehearse too much for film, or it's just me rehearsing in my room by myself before I go on set and shoot the scene. but I've never met my
Hmm.
partner before. And then it's like, okay, let's pretend we've been together for 10 years. So that's an aspect that I miss in
Hmm.
film, getting to rehearse, getting to feel comfortable with what you're doing. Um, so I can say that theater is a teamwork. And on film, it is still teamwork. There's so many people involved in it, but the work as an actor, it's more a solo.
Right.
So at home, you do the work at home.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's for
I
me.
I totally understand. And what was the most challenging scene that you had?
Um, I think I have a few up there. One was for a play called Machu Picchu, Texas. Um, and my character, she was a mom and an aunt, and someone passes away, so there's a funeral going on, and at the end, she thinks she sees the person that has passed away, but reincarnated in a dog. So then she comes back on stage, and it's this whole I saw your dad moment, like it was him, it was the dog, and it's the first time that she tells her nephew that she was in love with his dad,
Hmm.
but he ended up marrying my sister. So it's really heartbreaking. I think that was the hardest. It took me weeks to get that moment right. Um, yeah. And then if we're talking, I did just this scene once for a class, Beauty Queen of Lean Anne, and I played the old woman in it. Um, and she's abused by her daughter, like her hand is burnt because she abuses her that way. And then she basically burns to death with boiling oil on
Wow.
stage. And I thought that this was just for class, but
Right.
it was like a challenge. I was like really scared of doing. I was like, I don't know if I trust myself doing it, but it was a big learning curve. So that was one of the hardest things too. Yeah.
Wow. That's an intense scene.
Stella Adler only gives you the most intense, dramatic pieces, but they have a
Right.
purpose behind it, you know?
Um, Now a little bit about you
Yeah.
is that, of course, everybody knows you're from Spain now, but do you have any siblings? And if so, are they also in the acting entertainment industry?
No, I am actually an only child. And even in my friend group and stuff and cousins, I am kind of the only one that decided to go through the arts route. Um, so yeah. It's a bit crazy. They're always like, you're the hippie friend that left and is like across the ocean and just doing her arts stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that is me. Um, yeah, I have some friend like people that I grew up with because again, only child, so it's kind of I grew up with like a lot of people. They do music and stuff, but other than that, I am the only actor, yeah,
Wow.
around me.
And your parents knew you were gonna move to LA right away?
Yeah. Yeah, my dad is kind of hippie. He's a surfer, so he's very much you can do whatever you'd
Hmm.
like. But before moving to LA, I moved to Australia, so I think he knew that I was gonna I was gonna be very far away. So yeah.
And so, you went to Australia, and were
Mhm.
you acting in Australia as well?
Yeah, that was my first introduction into film because I came again from this small little town. I only did theater and my where like 100 people came to watch me kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I lived in Melbourne for a year and a half. I studied in Melbourne, film and television, which like opened up this whole new world for me. And then worked there as well, did a few films. Yeah, the training was
Uh,
incredible there.
that's a long flight from Spain to Australia.
Yeah, I think it's maybe over 15 hours. Like,
Nonstop?
no, it's all the I think I stopped in Abu Dhabi and Singapore or something like that. it was back in 2018, so I don't really want to yeah.
Oh wow. And was that the when you were deciding where you want to stay and act? Australia
Um,
or LA?
for me, it was always London or LA. But from my situation, I was like, I don't think I'm ready to go to all these big universities. I didn't even know what a monologue was. I acted because I loved it and it was fun. And I was like, but I really want to do this as a job, so let's go figure it out how. And then, you do your research and all the colleges are like, you need a 2-minute monologue, blah blah blah. And I was like, I was so terrified. I was like, I don't know how to do this. So my choice to go to Australia was kind of like, okay, I prep myself for a year and learn a bit more about it professionally before I decide to do like a
Hmm.
4-year bachelor's degree in acting. So I did that, and then yeah, then I found out what monologues were and how to act, and I learned so many from my auditions.
Wow.
And that kind of, I think LA was one of the first schools that accepted me, and then between the London schools and the LA schools, so I kind of was like, let's go to LA. So I booked the flight back home, and then yeah, came to LA.
Wow. And so now since you mentioned monologue, what can you tell everyone about monologue?
It's not as terrifying as it sounds if you've never done one before. There's so much fun. It's yeah, monologue, it's a little piece of a play normally. Film also has monologues, and there can be a minute, can be 2 minutes. Um, and it's just yourself talking to someone. But again, if you do it for yourself, there's no one else on stage with you. So it's kind of like you need to place another person. Yeah. They're tricky to act sometimes, I feel like, because you're like, I don't know what to do. But then you'll at the beginning of your acting training, you'll do so many that you'll get used to them. So, yeah.
No, that's true. 100%.
And they ask for them now as well in auditions and stuff. They're like, "Oh, do you have a monologue prepared for us?" So sometimes it's just nice to know some
Hmm.
already.
And get it ready and prepare and
Exactly.
right and all that stuff. So, what's your favorite holiday?
I think Christmas. Um, yeah, Christmas is very special to me. I always spend Christmas in Germany. Um, in Spain, it doesn't snow. We don't have seasons on the island that I'm from. So I always went to Germany. It was snowing, winter. My family's super big in Germany. Like in Spain, it's only my dad, me, and the friends that I grew up with. So then it was like super nice, like having 40 people at home for Christmas and eating together and stuff. That's kind of what I love about it. Everyone comes together.
Hmm. And your favorite food?
Ah, I'm vegan, so anything vegan that's good food I will eat. But I think lasagna is
Okay.
my favorite vegan lasagna. Yeah.
So, if so, have you always been vegan?
Yeah, yes and no. I went vegetarian at 12, but it was kind of 80% vegan already because it wasn't no milk, no eggs, just like a little bit of dairy.
Hmm.
Um, and then when I turned 18 in Australia, I only had to cut out cheese, and I made the choice to go fully vegan in Australia. My roommates in Australia were a full household like of vegans, so I learned so much with through them and stuff. And yeah, so since I'm 18, I've been fully vegan.
Wow.
I'm 24 now, so
Um, so do you see yourself living in LA for maybe rest of your life acting?
yeah. Not the rest of my life, but my acting career definitely. I love the city. It has so much to offer and so much to do. It's kind of overwhelming sometimes. But no, I think um later in life, I think I'm gonna probably I don't know, move to the country, away from a city. That's kind of the goal.
A country in the United States or
I've always said maybe back to the Canaries, which is weird because I never wanted to, but life is so slow and nice there that, retire like all the German and French and British that retire, they go to the Canaries after they retire because it's paradise and it's kind of like so,
interesting.
I feel like I'm gonna be that person in the end.
You never know, right?
Yeah,
Right. And one thing about as an actress is that um you enjoy it. That's one, that's the positive thing.
yeah,
if we don't enjoy it, then everybody would say why we continue doing it, right?
totally. And it's the thing, people always like, no, there's so many no's in the industry, so many rejection. And I kind of see it as like, well, next thing will come, this because this isn't a just, oh, I'm just gonna do this for 3 years. This is a forever thing for
Mhm.
me. So there's no rejection and forever type of thing.
Right.
Something will come.
So how do you handle auditions?
I used to not handle them too well. First of all, even doing them, I get really nervous. But it gets better with time, the more you do them. Um, and I don't know, it's weird because sometimes you send them in and you hear nothing back at all, not even a yes or a no. It's kind of like silent, radio silent after that. Um, And for me, I learned this lesson from one of my teachers. They're like, do your auditions like it's already the job. So then you will forget about the nerves and the fear, I guess, and you'll just have fun because you already booked the job and you're just like, okay, let's create this character for like the 3-minute tape.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think that was super valuable for me. That's kind of how I do it. You have fun, you send it in, and you forget about it.
That's
Don't
true.
don't think about it again. You're like, life continues.
Yeah, just send it in and you just ignore it until you hear
Yeah,
about it, right? And
exactly.
then, yeah, hopefully, if you hear about it,
You're just gonna go crazy if you're like, oh my God, they haven't replied. Because sometimes they won't. So there's like that's so much time like in my brain thinking
right,
about
could be
shit.
weeks, right?
Exactly. So send it in, let it go. What they say.
Yeah, it could be weeks till you hear from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm so glad you have upcoming projects and do you have any other upcoming projects do you
Um, not like set in stone. But hopefully some that have been we've been talking about will come out. There's another project that I want to do. It's a
Mhm.
dance film. We'll see. I'm kind of the creative. I'm like always trying to do things, so there will probably be things coming out soon.
And do you see yourself maybe eventually becoming a director?
Not director, but I could be like creative director. I
Hmm.
think I love doing that too. Even like set design
Producing.
stuff. Yeah, producing. I don't know, producing. That's a lot of other financial stuff involved in that I'm like, but any set design, costume design, any creative aspect of
Mhm.
the industry, I love doing. I also paint in my free time and kind of have so many hobbies that are like creative
Hmm.
that I wouldn't mind being like, okay, let's make this a job, you know?
Hmm.
Um,
So
but we,
you want to be behind the scenes.
yeah, but I don't think it's my thing. I don't know, maybe if I learn it, but directing people, I think that's weird because I'm normally in the position of being directed. So I don't know how that would translate if I flip the other side, you know? I don't know.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. Maybe it's the directing is so hard. I think it's so difficult because you have this idea in your brain and you need the other person to see it for it to come to life. That already sounds really hard to me. Um, so yeah, I think that is that aspect. How do you communicate your thoughts and the feeling without being like, do this, because you need to let the
Right.
creative space be open as well.
Hmm.
That's really hard. That's so difficult.
Right. I totally understand. It's hard to be
And
a
because you
director.
get to work with directors, and some you're like, this was brilliant. And then some were like, I didn't understand what they want from me. I'm just gonna do me and like they hope that it's what they want. So it is hard. Like some directors that are still learning and stuff, it's hard. Yeah.
And they're easy. There's some directors they're easy to work with.
Yeah.
And then
So
there's some that they're hard.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some
100%.
expect more, some less. It's kind of like you need to go with the flow. You
Right.
need to adapt to whoever is directing you. That's
Right.
fun.
And sometimes they're hard to communicate.
Yeah.
Right. 100%. Well, thank you, like I said, for coming on my show.
Thank
And
you for having
also, how can people find you? Do you have social media? Do you have
I have Instagram. I think that's the easiest way. Um, I'm the most active there. So it's Kiara underscore Castle, both with a
Mhm.
K. Like Kiara with a K and Castle with a K.
Not with a C?
Exactly.
You don't want people to look for you and be like, we can't find her.
Maybe CH.
I- and they're like, oh, Castle with a K.
Yeah.
Underscore. And that's where people can find you on Instagram, connect with
Yeah.
you, and the one thing I would say about Instagram is we all communicate and we help each other in the entertainment
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this social media thing. But then there's so much positive about it too. Everyone's connected with everyone and you get to see and you get to be inspired from other works. I don't know. It's
Right. Because
nice.
all the actors and directors, they communicate and say, "Hey, there's this role that's coming up in this area. Do this, do that," and the word of mouth spreads and the support spreads in the
Yeah.
entertainment industry. How we can support each other. That's 100%. So I totally agree with you. Well, thank you for coming on, and I look forward having you back.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Love it.
definitely want to have you back and talk about your upcoming roles.
Yeah. I'm I'll share them all with you guys.
Yes, we'll stay in touch for sure.
Of course. Thank
Well,
you so
thank you, and I will talk to you soon.
much. Talk soon.
All right, bye-bye.